again request Dr. R. Sankar to felicitate Professor V. Samuel Raj. Thank you so much, sir. I now request Dr. N.K. Sharma to felicitate Professor Ranjit Roy. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Abhay Chobe to felicitate Director Admission, Mr. Manoj Madhavan Kutti. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I would like to request Dean Engineering and Technology for the welcome address. So please enlighten our gathering.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Jaswal sir, respected Dean Academic Affairs, Professor V. Samuel Raj, Director Administration, Mr. Manoj Mohan Kutti, and chief guest of today's function, Professor Palni Kumar, Principal, Sairam Institute of Technology, Chennai. Invited guest of honor, Professor Prashant Konda, Gokul Das, Professor at Tallinn University of Technology, Professor R.C. Singh, Professor of Delhi Technical University, and Dr. V.S. Senthil Kumar, Professor, Anna University, Chennai. All deans, faculty members, head of the departments, and my dear students. And most important component of this conference, all the participants and the authors who has taken the keen interest to participate in this conference. Good morning to all of you. Happy Engineers Day. It is my privilege to convey my heartiest welcome you to the International Conference on Materials and Manufacturing for Sustainable Development, ICMMS 2022. It is high time that such an event took place at our campus to highlight the remarkable contribution on the recent developments on the materials and manufacturing for sustainable developments. Sustainability is a dynamic concept which came out from the environment debate of the latest quarter of the century. Now, the materials and manufacturing technology, it covers a lot of area where there is a continuous development, and it is interdisciplinary in nature, where there are many other areas where the researchers, they contribute towards these materials and manufacturing technology. Now, on this today's conference, the participants who are actually contributed the papers, they will came to know the latest trend of these materials and the manufacturing technology. Now, the conference such as this kind of nature will provide you a great exposure where you can interact with the outside academicians and the industry peoples and the many other professionals who has actually actively participated in this conference. I'm sure that you will have a fruitful and rewarding exchanges in this coming 2 days. I wish you all the best and look forward to expect the outcome from this conference. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. I would now like to request Mr. Manoj Vadhavan Kuti for the inaugural address.
Very good morning. At the outset, I would first like to wish you all a happy Engineers Day. And what a wonderful occasion to have this two-day international conference commemorating Professor Vishwesvaraya, who is the father of Indian engineering. So he was born on this very day in 1860. And now we are great to have millions of engineers from this great nation where it has been serving across the globe. The theme of this very conference is not just focusing on sustainability as a PR activity or something, because when people started talking about the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, it was rather seen as a part of putting it in terms of creating white papers, case studies that they have achieved it, and to brag it on the media and PR and everything. But now, even a bootstrap company, startup company, to a small ecosystem, to all the way to the big manufacturing industries across the globe, have taken sustainability very seriously. Because that is not just in terms of it's good for the environment, but it's also good for the business as a whole. The business model revolves around the circular economy, and where it's not just focusing on the manufacturing segment, but also on the other criteria. For example, 70% of the sustainability happens in the design phase. However, the crucial part comes in the consumability at being the end user level, and also the level of discarding the materials. I think that's a larger problem to solve. But that is the problem. But if you see the effect, it's not something that's going to just stay and you can erase it off. And that's going to have a very catastrophic impact on this. We have just one home, which is this earth. We could debate and deliberate if you're going to Mars or not, but what we have is one, and we need to definitely take care of that. So sustainable development, there are various 17 different sustainable development goals, and almost 12 of them directly focuses, directly implies, and the engineering aspects. Well, even indirectly, all 17 goals are impacting. And as an engineer on this wonderful day, I believe that every student present in this very gathering will take the best of it and will implement that in practice, not just like, skimming through those pages and debating about it, but debate should get into the phase of an idea to a concept to a prototype, and prototype further to design. We have got the Center for Incubation, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Cell. So the students, I know that many of you are actively participating. Those who have not done yet, I think that's something you should seriously consider. Because gone are the days where your mere degree will help you, not just about jobs. Even if you want to start something, you need to understand how the whole ecosystem of innovation is developing. Because innovation without sustainability is a big failure. I can innovate a great product which can perform really well. But again, if you see the UNEP, United Nations Environmental Protection Program, they talk more on, they are advising industries to actually increase the efficiency, but by also reducing the throughput, energy throughput. So it's not just about making super fast automobile or the most advanced technology. Technology innovation will never sustain unless you have the core fundamental of having sustainability factor in it. Otherwise, it is definitely not going to be sustainable in the long run. And circular economy, definitely, this is going to be the epitome of the modern manufacturing industry. And if we consider these points, I'm sure we have got lovely audience, Professor Gokul Das, Chief Guest, Professor Parni sir, and Professor Senthil Kumar, along with, of course, our own Dean Engineering and Dean Academics are here. And I think they're going to deliberate further. And one thing is certain, that these 2 days, I believe, as an engineer by myself, I was just flipping through those pages, and amazing abstracts there and really interesting ideas. I want that every student walks out with a copy of the book. I think sufficient books are there. Dr. Shankar has made it possible for everyone to get your hands on. Please do read that. It's pretty interesting. And I'm sure that if everyone just starts thinking about sustainability, we will reach there. If not 2030, yes, it's a race to have maximum sustainable development goals to be achieved by 2030. But even if it's 2035, it doesn't matter. But as long as we put our mind and head to it, I think that's very important. So with that, wish you all a great day ahead, and thank you all.
Very thank you to you for your words, sir. Now I would like to request Professor V. Semval Raj to address the gathering on behalf of SRM University. Sir, please.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Respected guests on the dais, off the dais, and also my dear students. First of all, wish you all a happy Engineers Day. As the Director Administration said, what a day to select for such a colorful event, wonderful event on this occasion of this one Engineers Day. In the stage, except me, all are engineers. And I am happy to be part of the engineers, but I am also a scientist. Okay, so that's the reason that when the government decided to merge both science and engineering, they have given the name as Science and Technology. This conference also, it is not only focusing on the engineering, but it's focusing on both science and technology. So in that way, I fit to sit on the dais with esteemed guests. And I was so happy to see Professor V.S. Senthil Kumar sitting here. The main reason is that he was the boss of Dr. Shankar. Shankar has done PhD under him. So what a privilege for Professor Senthil Kumar to see his own student coming up to this stage and organizing such a great event with his team members. As HOD, Dr. Shankar is organizing this. He's the captain of this conference. So this is the beauty of the teacher, to see his students are progressing and doing the best. I know that one Professor Senthil Kumar must be feeling extremely happy. And I'm sure that Dr. Shankar will never let you down. And he will make you always to feel very happy, and you will always remember him. And other esteemed guests are here on the dais. Professor Palani Kumar, Professor R.C. Singh, along with, of course, Professor Senthil and Professor Gokul Das. And our own dean also, he is also an expert, electrical engineer. And we know Manoj as Director Administration and Director Admissions Director of international relations. But he's a beautiful engineer, computer science engineer. Many problems. He is very fast. I always see that he is so quick in the computer science engineering, even before the, many people could answer, he takes that issue and then he resolves it. So that is the beauty of this today's event when we are observing this Engineers Day. When we talk about the Engineers Day, of course, this day that we are celebrating and we are remembering on the birthday of Visvesvaraya, Mokshagundam Visvesvaraya. And his qualification. He didn't get a doctorate in engineering. He doesn't have a master's in engineering. He doesn't have a bachelor's in engineering. Then so what? His qualification was only DCE, Diploma in Civil Engineering, and BSc degree from University of Madras, and DCE, Diploma in Civil Engineering from University of Bombay. But his brilliant mind has designed so many bridges, so many buildings. You know that one metro station we have in his name, in Moti Park. It is named after him, a diploma in civil engineers. Now what about you, who has masters in engineering, PhD in engineering? What are the things that you are supposed to do that? Please remember that. When we talk about Visvesvaraya, when we talk about his works, I used to remember always, when I was in Banaras Indian University, Varanasi, there is one hostel also named after him, Visvesvaraya Hostel. I don't know how many of you know that. There is one hostel for engineering students, Visvesvaraya. And his work in that bridge in Ganges between Varanasi and Mughalsarai, it's remarkable work. It's a double-decker bridge. Okay, bottom, the train used to go, and on the top, the buses used to go. See a man, how much work that he can do it. And he always used to give the credit to his team. He never took his credit on his own. And coming to today's conference, International Conference on Materials and Manufacturing for Sustainable Development. That is more important. Why do we need a materials, a revised form of materials, or the material, a fine-tuning of these materials for the sustainable development? Why? Do we have a place to walk or go in Delhi? Sometimes people, those who are walking, can move faster than the cars. People used to joke that one man was going on the pedestrian way, and his friend saw him in the car. Just come with me, I'll give you a lift. And then he said that one, I am in a hurry. I have to reach fast. If I go with you in the car, I will be delayed. What's the reason? The number of cars are more, good. But what is the result of this one? The carbon emission is very high. CO2 emission is very high. So what it will cause, the CO2 emission? The greenhouse effect. I don't know how many of you know this, the effect of greenhouse effect. We are talking about global warming. The temperature is rising. 79% of temperature rise, or 79% of global warming, or 79% of greenhouse effect, it's because of CO2 emission. Now, how this CO2 emission is very high, and what sort of materials that we use? Do we have any materials which can absorb the CO2 and reduce this emission of CO2? This is the biggest question, biggest challenge in front of the mechanical engineers. And mechanical engineers should not just come up with any materials. Okay, their automobiles, their cars, or their vehicles, they are running very fast. There is no meaning into it. Every year, there is a competition for the mechanical engineering students. This Baha organization, they organize this particular event. And I'm so glad to see that our own students, okay, before they study the hardcore engineering, they are totally involved in designing and manufacturing the whole vehicle. It's excellent. So what we need to do is that one, this is a time for both science and technology. Science should not be separate, technology should not be separate. There is a need for the teamwork. You know, people always say that. If you see a research paper, article from Japan and Germany, you will never see a single author paper or two author paper. Always there used to be 15, 20 authors paper. Sometimes we don't understand. We people talk about that, what's the need for so many authors in a research article? But that is mandatory. It's a teamwork. There is a need for contribution from all the experts, specialization. When we talk about the science and technology, here the materials, it is part of the science. Materials is very much part of the science. Technology is the part which is integrating, which is very much for the manufacturing. You may be knowing this incident. Dr. Abdul Kalam, he saw the, patients, these amputated legs, and also the polio patients. They need the support when there is a surgery to be conducted by the orthopedicians, and they used to have the legs with so much of materials. But the material available in the hospital was heavy material. They cannot even use it freely. You know what he thought? With his brilliant mind in the aerospacing, okay? Aerospace, that material, you cannot take the heavy material to the space. You cannot use any sort of heavy materials in the space. So what you need to do is that one, the light material, when I'm talking about the material scientists also working inside. So what we need to see is that one, we need to have that very light material. So he combined that aerospace aging material, which can fit into this polio affected patient, or this anybody whose leg was amputated. So that made this artificial leg to be lightweighted. If there is lightweight, even people can walk easily. So that is the need of this hour. I do have experience in the research of these biomaterials. These biomaterials used for the diagnosis. These biomaterials are used for the treatment. And you may ask the question that, how can these materials are used in the treatment? How come the materials be part of the tablet? There's so many materials. I can talk about so much about that one. In biomaterials, I do have a lot of experience with the biomedical engineering in IIT Delhi. I'm very much part of that in IIT Delhi biomedical engineering, where we have, 2 PhD students. I was the supervisor of those particular students. They have worked on these biomaterials. Now coming back to this one, the material science, since the material science and manufacturing for the sustainable development, this conference is organized by, principally by the mechanical engineering. What needs to be focused is that one, this particular material, number one, it should be sustainable. Number two, how this automobile or other materials, how it can help to absorb the CO2 and how it can reduce this emission of any fossil fuels. Recently we have purchased, previously also we had the e-vehicle, but we need to replace it. The cost of this e-vehicle, a small e-vehicle costs about 11 lakhs. Now the question comes, if we have this e-vehicle, okay, we are just getting rid of this fossil material, fossil fuels, and we want to convert everything into this e-vehicle and, another energy savings. Now what is the cost of this material? It's very expensive. Now the question comes, how to reduce the cost? It should be sustainable, it should be cheaper, and it should be usable and user-friendly. That is where we need the students and the faculty members to work together. I am glad to know that we have received more than 200 papers. Excellent. And all the 200, the students will not be allowed to give their presentation. There is a selection. And also I want the experts, as well as others, those who are involved in the presentation, as well as listening to the presentation, evaluating this presentation, please go through that thoroughly, carefully. And you just give your valuable suggestions. It's going to be very important. We are not here just to listen to the presentation, but also to give their valuable suggestions, so that the students, those who are giving the presentation, they will be getting the good feedback. That's what, just before coming here, I had that privilege of talking to Professor Sendil Kumar as well as Professor Palani, along with Dr. Gokul Das. We were discussing that there is a huge gap between the industry as well as academia. The industries, they don't prefer to select the patents filed by the academia. What's the reason? Because we don't know the need of the industry. Number one, industry need. Number two, the timeline. Because we take our own timeline. That will never work. That will never help. We need to be more conscious about the timeline. Timeline is very important. We need to set a goal. We need to set a timeline. And we need to work towards the timeline. Either day or night, doesn't matter. 9 to 5 is not the job of the engineers. 9 to 5 is not the job of the scientists. 9 to 5 is not the job of the academician, any academicians. Till you complete the task, day or night, doesn't matter. We need to work towards that goal and achieve the goal. And timeline is very important. As far as the industry is concerned, I would like to tell all my students as well as the faculty members, those who do not have the experience to the industry, as far as the industry is concerned, time is money. Time is everything for them. I have the 10 years of industry experience. I worked as a, the scientist, senior scientist, or the chief scientist in the pharma industry. I know that one. How much attention is given to the timeline. So we must focus on the timeline. Otherwise, don't expect our patents to be taken by the industries. And we need to be more sensitive towards the need of the industry. If we do these two, and industries will be very happy to take our patents. Industries, they are not bothered about the papers. Yes, as far as the academicians are concerned, this is very much important. Again, I would like to tell all my students as well as the faculty members, please focus on the very high impact papers. Never focus on this low impact factor or some journals which they just take anything. No. Try your level best to get the best research paper. Try your level best. See to the industry and what is their need accordingly. You do all the work, either research or even filing the patents. In this regard, I really congratulate this mechanical engineering team under the leadership of Dr. Sankar. They have that very good tie-up with the MSMEs. They bring the MSMEs. They discuss with the MSMEs. They give suggestions to the MSMEs. They take suggestions from the MSMEs and they are working with the MSMEs. So that is the beauty of this particular department. And once again, I congratulate the mechanical engineering department, especially my special congratulations to Dr. N.K. Sharma. He is a guiding force. He has a lot of experience in the industry. With that industry experience, he is working in the academia. With that style that he is helping the students as well as the faculty members. So his guidance is very important. So with that, I would like to once again congratulate the mechanical engineering team. All the best. I look forward to have the useful discussions and then fruitful outcome out of this 2 days conference. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable experiences and knowledge. It must have enlightened our students and other participants. Yeah. Now before we move further, I would like to introduce you to our respectable chief guest again, Professor K. Palani Kumar, who had done extremely well in academic arena. He is currently designated at the post of principal at Sai Ram Institute of Technology, Chennai. He's an experienced professor with a demonstrated history of working in the higher education industry. He is skilled in statistical data analysis, lecturing, curriculum development, and public speaking. He's a strong education professional with a PhD focused in the Department of Mechanical Engineering from Anna University, Chennai. He's among top 2% scientists in materials. He's also among world's top 1% reviewer by Papillon Web of Science Group. He's also one among the international experts in composite materials. He has more than 10,000 citations with the H-index of 55. That is very high. And he has also received a grant in aid of around 1.5 crores from various funding agencies. He has published more than 25 patents and granted 7 patents. I would like to request Professor K. Palni Kumar to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Very good morning. Very good morning to one and all present here. Our respected Professor V. Samuel Raj, Dean and Registrar, Professor P.K. Gogul Das, Dalin University, Professor R.C. Singh, Delhi Technological University, Professor V.S. Sendil Kumar from Anna University, Professor Ranjit Rai, Mr. Manoj Madhavan Kutti, Director, and all my dear participants for the International Conference on Materials and Manufacturing Engineering for Sustainable Development 2022. Professor R. Sankar, Convener, Anand Gaurav, Convener, Professor Abhay Chaudhary, Co-Convener, and Professor A.K. Mishra, Coordinator, has made the elaborate arrangement for this conference. Really a wonderful meet here in SRM University, Delhi. On the way we have traveled from Chennai to Delhi. After seeing all of you here, we are very happy that the International Conference on Sustainable Development in Mechanical and Manufacturing is organized by the SRM University, Delhi. So this is a very great opportunity to have the interaction. Really, I congratulate the Department of Mechanical Engineering for the wonderful opportunity to have meet many people in the field. So this is a great opportunity for the engineers, technocrats, academicians, and students to have more interaction about materials and manufacturing engineering for sustainable development. So nowadays, the sustainability or working with long duration is very, very important. How we are able to maintain the sustainability in mechanical and materials engineering. So this is an opportunity that if you are going to reduce the power for making the component, then we are able to improve the sustainability. If we are able to reduce the energy for manufacturing, then we are able to increase the sustainability. Like we are able to have many ways of improving the sustainability. We have lot of opportunities for materials and manufacturing engineering nowadays. So everywhere the people are developing new material, even in the computer science field or in the material science or in the biomedical or wherever we go, the material development is very, very important, and the people are working towards the development of new materials. Suppose if you are taking the carbon fiber, it is capable of taking up more load, and the strength of these fibers are very, very high with less weight. Instead of going for a very big 100 kg iron rod, even we can go for a carbon fiber shaft with only 2 or 3 kg. Same strength, same stiffness, and almost equivalent tensile strength. We are able to get it from these components. So this is the evolution that is taking place in the materials world. On the other hand, manufacturing also improving day by day. The people are working on the development of manufacturing. I think you may aware that Industry 4. In Industry 4, almost we are using cloud computing, artificial intelligence, data science, everything in manufacturing engineering. So that we cannot rely only upon computer science and engineering. This computer science and engineering is applicable to the manufacturing engineering, so that the mechanical engineers are having huge opportunities in the world, because if you are taking India, day by day we are growing. Many industries are coming up. Many new model cars are coming up. Many new battery cars are coming up. So where they are finding the mechanical engineers for manufacturing this? So that as a mechanical engineer, we must have to rely upon the working of the development of the materials and the manufacturing for sustainable development. So the sustainability is maintained if properly. Definitely, we are able to reduce the cost of manufacturing and the cost of materials. So the reduction of the cost of materials and the reduction of cost of manufacturing improves the quality of the product, and also we are able to sell the product to the customer very much easier as less price without compromising the quality. So the quality and the sustainability are like our two eyes, so that we are able to maintain the sustainability in all the field, especially in the materials and the manufacturing engineering. The people are combining the titanium with some other material, and they are using this material even for dental implant and many things. So the biomaterials are coming up nowadays in the world. Even if you are having some broken hand or something else in your body, this can be manufactured by means of using additive manufacturing. We are able to insert it in the particular field. Even bone scaffold and many things are manufactured easily by means of using the additive manufacturing. So the manufacturing is the endless process that we are able to develop day by day. We are able to improve the product quality. We are able to automate the product manufacturing and many things in the field by means of applying the proper concept. So in this conference, the people are going to deliberate and they are going to discuss about the different things that are happening in the world. Around 150 papers are going to be presented, and after the peer review process, these papers will be published in the Materials Today proceedings by Elsevier, and this is going to be indexed in Scopus. So this is a great opportunity for the academicians and also for the students to publish their paper in the Scopus indexed conference proceedings. So please you make use of this opportunity. We are going to have different deliberations and what are the different kind of materials developed in the world, and also how the people are developing it, how the developing is going on, how we are able to improve the product, how we are able to bring the sustainability in these materials and manufacturing engineering. These are going to be discussed. The conveners of the conference, one of my friend, Dr. Sankar, he has made the elaborate arrangement, for which I really congratulate him. Also, I congratulate Professor Anand Gaurav, convener, Professor Abhay Chaudhary, co-convener, and Professor A.K. Misra, coordinator, and also all the faculty members in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. They have did the wonderful arrangement for this conference. Really a wonderful opportunity. Professor Samuel Raj, Dean sir, he has explained lot about the sustainability, materials and manufacturing engineering. So from that, we have deduced that sustainability, if we are able to bring it in the materials and manufacturing engineering, definitely we are able to improve the society and we are able to improve our India, so that ultimately we are able to serve to the people. So serve to the society. That is the ultimate motto. So this is a very great opportunity for the scientists and engineers for the interaction. I express my sincere thanks to the organizer for providing me an opportunity to have the interaction with you. So if you have any interaction about the materials and the manufacturing engineering, don't hesitate us. Please, you may contact through our mail ID, which will be provided to the organizers. Even for the joint publications and other thing with the SRM University can be possible by the collaboration. So that this is a great opportunity for the interaction. Once again, I express my sincere thanks to 100% here for providing me the opportunity. I congratulate the organizers and the students for the wonderful arrangement. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful speech. We really appreciate your time and efforts that you have put to be here. Now I would like to request Dr. R. Sankar upon stage for the vote of thanks. Sir. Yeah.
Good morning, all. I find myself honored and privileged to present a vote of thanks on the special occasion, the first international conference, Materials and Manufacturing for Sustainable Development for ICMMS 22. First of all, I would like to thank our chief guest, Professor Palani Kumar, for being a chairman of this conference and guest editor of the proceedings to be published in Materials Today proceedings elsewhere. And I would also thank Professor R.C. Singh, Professor B.K. Gogul Das, and Professor V.S. Sendil Kumar and Professor S. Umarani for accepting for our invitation and giving their precious time for as a keynote speaker for this session. I would also like to thank Professor Rizwan Ahmad Khan, Mr. Kamaljit Gai, Dr. Vineet Dubey, Dr. Pon Shanmugha Kumar, and Dr. Ashwin for accepting being part of session chair and expert in this respective topic of the conference. On behalf of this organizing committee, I convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Ravi Pachamuthu ji, and Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Paramjit Singh Jaswal. We are also thankful to Registrar and Dean Academic Affairs, Professor V. Samuel Raj, Mr. Manoj Madhavan Kutti, Director, Admission and Administration for International Affairs, and Professor Ranjit Roy, Dean Engineering. I would like to extend my thanks to all deans, HODs, and faculties and non-teaching staffs of different departments that collectively help us organize this conference in this current form. Apart from that, I am greatly thankful to our IT department for making arrangement of this online session. I would like to extend my thanks to Web Design, Admission Department, Transport Department, and Finance Department for supporting this conference. Also, I would like to thank Professor Sanjay Malik and Professor Upendra Singh, Professor Bhavan Singh, Bhavan Kumar, Professor Ramendra Pandey for supporting for this conference. Also, for thanks to our coordinator, convener, and coordinator in our faculty members and our non-teaching staffs for supporting all the events for this conference. Last but not the least, students, our backbone, should be thanked to take most of the arrangement on our shoulder. I wish you to have a wonderful stay at SRM University, Delhi NCR campus. Delhi NCR enjoy the conference at this, at the surface of this SRM University. And one more thing, for the all the support from our admission and administration for the engineering department for their unconditional support to us for this conference. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. I just have a small announcement to make. So we have arranged some kind of refreshments for all of you. I request all the dignitaries and the guests to proceed for mini conference. We have arranged high tea for you. And I request all the participants and the students to have their refreshment outside the law block. Please proceed. Thank you. We'll continue with this session after 20 minutes. Please be here after 20 minutes.